Hey everyone, welcome to our podcast on The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. You are listening to Zelda Universe Pod Smashers. Guys, tell me, why are we talking about Link to the Past? Why now?
Because A Link Between Worlds is coming out in about 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So we are very excited for the sequel and we decided to play through the original again.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Martin, when did you play the game?
Well, I played it last week and it was my first time going through the game.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Frank?
3 weeks ago, but I originally played it on the Game Boy Advance in 2003 for the first time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I played the game half a year ago for the 4th time, I think. And I played the original on the Super Nintendo. It was actually my first Zelda game.
Ooh.
So, I love it.
So we have very different, like for you it's the first Zelda game, for Martin it's a new experience, and for me it's like a middle
Yeah,
experience.
should be an
That's good.
interesting point of view. So, to start, shall I give a short summary of the story?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, please.
So, A Link to the Past takes place after Ocarina of Time. It's actually the first game in the Downfall timeline, which means that Link got defeated in Ocarina of Time, and Ganon got a hold of the Triforce. What the sages do is seal Ganon with the Triforce into the Sacred Realm.
Yep.
Now, over the years, Ganon transforms it into the Dark World, and that's where A Link to the Past comes in. A priest appears called Aghanim, and he's trying to reopen the Dark World to release Ganon. And to do that, he has to capture the descendants of the sages, which are girls, including Zelda. And I really love the opening of the game.
Yeah.
It's my favorite part of the game. You're Link, you're lying in bed, and then you and your uncle both get a telepathic message from Zelda. He goes out, he doesn't come back. You follow him, and outside it's raining, it's thundering, it's dark. You don't know what's going on. There's this moody music playing, and that's how your adventure starts. I love it.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's like Ocarina of Time, just that it's real instead and not a dream.
Yeah, true. So, did you like the game?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. I think it's one of my top 5 Zelda games, at least.
Well, it's probably in my top 3.
Uh,
I never played the game and I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I agree in many things that's said about it, and it's an old game, but it's still amazing.
Then I'll have to say that it's in my top 2, maybe even top 1, not sure.
Okay.
What's the other game?
I'm not sure about Ocarina of Time or
Okay.
Link to the Past.
Yeah, that's
it's-
understandable.
Yeah, it's a good competitor. So, what makes A Link to the Past good? Because a lot of people talk about it, especially older gamers. They always like A Link to the Past, but what is it that makes it so good? Shall we each name 2 points, because we played it recently, we paid attention. Frank, you want to start?
Yep. I think what's great in the game is what I always love is the first half. It really draws you in. Like the overworld is very open and there's lot to explore and to get. Like you can get the ice rod at Lake Hylia and items in Kakariko Village and different bottles. And yeah, it's a lot of fun and it really draws you into the game. It gets me going and
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is a very big open world, especially right in the beginning. You can almost go anywhere.
yeah. And yes, the second half is more dungeon crawling, but the dungeons have a very nice design. All of them you can play them out of order, and the dungeons have good non-linear design. And a very different design, like there's dungeons which are split in half and you have different exits on the overworld, or there's very different shapes.
There's a
and
lot of different ideas.
Yeah, exactly, and that's great. Good difficulty.
Yeah, definitely.
Martin?
Well, as the action kind of guy I am, well, I would have to mention the items in this game. Is at least in my opinion, most of the items felt really useful, and that you use them throughout the game.
Yeah.
There was though the medallions which I just used for opening the dungeons, and I have to say that some of the items is optional to get in the game, and some feel optional while you have to get them. For example, the flippers, you have to go find some Sora who sells them for 500 rupees, and
Some Sora? Oh, it was only the Zora King.
Sora King, sorry. But anyways,
Some random Sora in the game.
Some fat guy.
wow, this kid doesn't understand anything. Anyways, you have to get the flippers. You can't swim without them. There is also the ice rod, which you need for the Trinix fight. It's also hidden on the right side of Lake Hylia. There is a small tip in the game about it, but there is some vital items you have to get in this game in order to proceed, which the medallions is a good example. You have to decipher all the Hylian language in the signs, and I didn't know so much about that, so, well, I had to go back to the light world in order to proceed in the game, and that made me kind of stuck sometimes, but still a lot of awesome things in the game with the items. I loved the hookshot, the bow, and you got the bow in the first dungeon. It was amazing. Well,
That's
some would
nice.
say the second dungeon, but yeah, whatever. You get it quite early in the game, and it's my favorite item in the games.
What I
And,
like- Yeah, what I like about the optional items is that there's so much chance to play around with them. For
Yeah.
example, the ice rod, I think you can get it pretty early in the game, right?
yes,
Yeah.
And you only need it once for one boss, but other than that, it's always fun just to freeze people, enemies, and then smash them with a hammer, maybe.
well, the items have so much. You can use them for so many things. For example, the magic powder. You can turn the yellow beans that turns you into a rabbit. You can use them to make them into fairies. I didn't know this when I was playing, so I have
Me
to
neither.
replay the game because that would have been amazing when I was low on life and I needed some life. You could just turn them into a fairy. And there is the magic cape. You can go invisible like it's Harry Potter. You can use the cane of Byrna, which makes you invulnerable. Yeah, lots of usage of all the items, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That really is nice.
And then there is the bosses, which is also a great deal for me in the Zelda games. And I think this game is probably the game with the best boss fights ever. And I can state, at least for me, all the boss fights are epic. I look at the list and I can't find one boss I don't like. They're all difficult. Some are easier than others. You guys say, oh, this is so easy, this boss, but it's the first time I played the game, and no, it wasn't easy for me. I did try Moldorm, and
I
quite
think that
easy.
Moldorm is quite hard. I hate
Actually,
this
it was-
boss.
Yeah, what I was about to say is that he was really easy the first time I played against him, but the second time, I think it took me half an hour and I was just pissed. I was about to throw my my controller away.
I
And-
think Moldorm was like the bane of every 90s child.
Yeah,
It was just so hard. You would fall down all the
Still my
time.
bane. 3 weeks ago I still had trouble with this boss. I needed 15 tries or something
Wow.
before I defeated him. It was so
But
silly.
what I think this game does with the bosses is that they have faces. For example, Blind. He seemed quite easy at the beginning of the fight. Then suddenly a head starts flying around. I was like, what? Then a second head starts flying around. And then, just to top it off, a third head starts flying
Yeah.
around. So there's just fire all over the room. I could keep talking about the boss fight, so I'm gonna stop. But there's a lot of amazing things.
It is good that they keep getting more difficult, because that's
Yes.
what you miss in some of the newer Zelda games, I think.
I'm now that I've tried this game, I definitely miss these kind of boss fights, and I really hope that Zelda games in the future are going to at least be more careful and then make some harder boss fights. But because, well, the normal monsters are not that difficult, so I hope that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good points. So what I really thought was a big improvement over the previous two games, like the two games on the Nintendo, they had very minimal story. You had a story screen in the beginning of the game and then one at the end, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
In this game, it's a story that you could almost put in a game that's released right now, and it would be good enough.
Yes,
It's-
that's true.
I really
also
like it.
think they were quite limited with the first two games, just to try and
Yeah, true.
defend them.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. But here, like every time you defeat a boss and you release the maiden, she tells a bit about Ganon or the overworld or a part of history. you have a very big plot twist in the middle of the game.
Yeah.
By the way, do you know the story of the story? Like
Story of the story.
yeah, how they got together, the story of Link to the Past.
I don't know.
There was this guy working at Nintendo, Kensuke Tanabe, and he was really into fantasy literature, Lord of the Rings, etc. And what he did in his free time, he wrote fanfiction. At one point, before A Link to the Past, Nintendo found out about that. They probably saw some of his stories lying on his desk or something, and they asked him to join the Zelda team and to write the story of A Link to the Past.
I think that's not correct.
Oh.
His story is for the first Zelda game, not just Link to the Past. I think.
Yeah, actually I did some research on it a year ago, and people showed me that he actually started working on A Link to the Past.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah, I know why we were confused. In the magazine that was released with the poster inside, that's where they say that he came up with the whole Zelda and Link thing.
Ah, okay.
But
That's
found
not
out
really
that's not correct.
true. That was Miyamoto.
Yeah, it was. And another thing that I really like about the game is the music. When you think about it, a lot of the famous Zelda themes, they started out in A Link to the Past, like Zelda's Lullaby.
Yeah.
Oh, best song ever, the Dark World theme.
Yeah, that's really great. I also like the Light World theme.
Yeah,
It was just awesome having it playing on my TV and just playing the game.
yeah. Frank,
Yeah,
did you...
many themes were created for the first time, like Hyrule Castle or Zelda's theme or Kakariko Village.
Kakariko.
Kakariko. Yeah, so many known themes in the series, like stand-up to the series, were made by Link to the Past in Ocarina of Time, like you would think.
Yeah. Did you, by the way, talking about music, Martin, I know you didn't go there, but Frank, did you go to the Zelda concert?
Yep.
Okay. Was awesome, wasn't it?
Yes.
I've missed out.
Anyway, I think that's pretty much what makes A Link to the Past so great.
Yeah,
And-
I agree with you. I think this game has taken a lot of, they've made a lot of innovative and a lot of features and put in the game, and it just worked really well. And I think a lot of the newest other games, also Ocarina of Time, is using this model to build the game from.
Yeah.
Must have been a huge success for them.
Yeah.
It shaped from the modern Zelda, Link to the Past. It's like many things which are standard to the series now were invented by Link to the Past, which includes cutting grass, for example, or opening treasure chests. You didn't have any of this in the NES games. This was made by Link to the Past. Or, pieces of heart. And
Yeah.
Smashing pots.
yeah.
Also,
yeah, true.
the big
Smashing parts.
the big story that you can interact with people. I know you could a little in Zelda 2, but it wasn't that much. Come on,
No.
let's be honest. This game just took it to the next level.
Yeah. So much to do.
Yeah, they made the world feel magic. It's like you're on an adventure and you just want to go save all the girls.
Yeah. Story of my life.
Yeah, yeah.
So, is there anything you didn't like about the game?
Yes, there is. We were talking about the other night, and you mentioned, Frank, the hitbox of the game. And since I've played the Oracle games, where when you swing your sword and you can see the animation, it basically hits all the way around. But in A Link to the Past, that's not how it works. I think it's a bit stiff, and you have to be really in front of the monster before you hit it. That was a bit difficult for me.
I have problems with monsters running inside me, like it's... Yeah,
Yeah,
you
also.
get constant damage from enemies running inside you, which is problematic.
Yeah, because once they're inside you and you swing your sword, you don't hit
Yep.
them.
Yep.
Yeah.
You have to run away, turn around, and hit them. That was a bit
Yeah.
annoying.
And I guess the overworld, no, the Dark World dungeons, it was a dungeon crawl, as Frank already mentioned.
Yep.
There was not so much to do between them, and there was not so many things to explore in the Dark World. Even though you could travel back to the Light World, there was some places you had to stand. It wasn't always obvious, but sometimes it was quite obvious, and there is also a lot of hidden things as well. But I wish there was more to do between the dungeons, at
Yeah.
least.
And
But
also,
that's
when you open the map of the game, it actually shows you the location of all the dungeons.
yeah, that's true.
So that
And they also have a number, one,
Yeah.
two, the order to do them, and
But you can play them out of order if you want to. At least
Yeah.
some of them, which is
Yes.
cool. Like, for example, in the Super Nintendo version, there was this puzzle in the Ice Palace, which you could skip with Cane of Samaria. So a lot of people were going to the Misery Mire and getting this Cane of Samaria first, and then we went back to the Ice Palace to skip this puzzle, because otherwise this puzzle requires lots of backtracking through the entire dungeon.
I
So,
actually
yeah.
like that puzzle. I'm a bit sad
Yeah.
that they took it out of the.
In the Game Boy Advance version, no. In the Game Boy Advance version, we fixed it. Basically, we made it so that you cannot use the Cane of Samaria. So you have to go back all the way, and it's a little bit different, but it's.
I think they
doesn't-
made it easier, didn't they?
No, actually, we made it harder because you can't use Cane of Samaria anymore. You have to go back all the way and find. I
Because
think the Game Boy Advance version is harder in that way.
yeah, because
So
I played the original when I was, how old was I? 12, and I remember having to push a block.
Yeah, okay, that part is a little bit tricky. You don't have to do this anymore, yeah. But you
Yeah.
have to go back to this block this way you can skip this.
Okay, so
well,
did
to be honest, I don't think the Ice Palace was the worst dungeon, and I didn't get the Cane of Samaria to do this kind of trick. I didn't know you could do that. I was following them in order, and that kind of person. Anyways, I think the Ice Palace was fairly easy. It didn't take too long. There was another one. You have like 3 doors you can go into from the start, and you get to a bridge. You have to blow up the bridge. You have to jump down. Push a button, get a key. I can't remember.
Dark Palace, you mean?
Yeah, the Dark Palace. Then where you paid a monkey to open it.
Yeah.
Yep.
With the most awesome boss battle Helmer saw King. Anyways,
I agree.
that dungeon took, I don't know, 2 hours for me, I guess. I don't know. I have no time of it, but I was really annoyed by that one. I wanted to look it up, but I didn't. I completed it myself, but it was really difficult.
It's very easy to miss a key in this dungeon. It happened to me the last time as well. I was like stuck. I was like, okay, I'm missing a key. Where do I get it? And it was really confusing.
Yeah.
But I like these kind of puzzles.
I got into a room and I see, wow, there's a bombable wall up there, and I'd been at that spot. So I went all the way back in the dungeon, back to that bombable wall, and when I got in there was just fairies. I was so sad.
Yeah, the game is cruel.
Yeah. It's
So, do you think that the game in this age is overshadowed by newer Zelda games, like Ocarina of Time, or if we're talking about 2D games, is it maybe overshadowed by the Minish Cap?
It depends on what terms. I think if you want more story and more interaction, it's definitely overshadowed, or more side quests. It doesn't have as many side quests as newer Zelda games. You have the 24 pieces of heart and some optional items, but that's pretty much it.
It's an old game, and it's very charming to play. I played it for the first time, and I don't think it's overhyped. It's a game I could sit down and play again. It's a replay value. I enjoyed every moment of it, and I think any Zelda fan would as well. And I even think my brothers would play this game. So no, I don't think it's overhyped. I think it's living up to the hype it's getting.
Yeah.
It definitely overshadows all following games in terms of difficulty. Like the difficulty level of A Link to the Past for me is just perfect. It's always challenging, and you
I
don't
agree.
get this with the newer Zelda games here. They tend to be very easy, and I think A Link to the Past is just the right difficulty.
I agree with you, and while I probably prefer Ocarina of Time due to some other elements, I wish that the games in the future at least take this difficulty and try to add it to them, because right now games are too easy and they need to have this difficult. It's really balanced.
Speaking of future games, so in a few weeks A Link Between Worlds is out. Now,
Yeah.
don't worry, we're not going to spoil anything, because I personally hate spoilers. But is there anything from A Link to the Past that you would like to see again in A Link Between Worlds? Now, Frank, I know you played a lot of the new game, so maybe I shouldn't ask you. But Martin, is there anything?
I hope not if I hope the bosses returns, but at least the difficulty of them, or the way they built them up with one phase and the next phase, you know, that was really nice. And as we talked before, the difficulty of a game would be nice. It's not too easy to run through. Yeah.
Yeah, of course we already know that it's going to be a lot less linear and not so much hand-holding this time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's good. I think I heard somewhere that the Dark World music is returning, but I'm not sure yet. So
Yeah, it's returning.
okay, that's good. And what I also hope is that it has the blue mail, like the second.
The most awesome design of a male on Link.
I think so, yeah. It's the
Yeah.
second costume you get. I really like it. It's a blue tunic with a yellow hat.
Yeah, it's very good.
And Frank, is there anything that you haven't seen yet but you hope it will be in?
I know only the difficulty, like Martin said, but I already know what I'm getting with the game, so
Okay.
I'm quite happy.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Well, also there was one dungeon where you have to go. There was more entrance points. I think you already pointed that out, Frank. And I hope A Link to
Yeah, that would be
Between Worlds.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope A Link Between Worlds do some kind of this with. You know, they were quite innovative with A Link to the Past, and I hope they take some of those elements and put into A Link Between Worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know what I don't like about Nintendo? I think they missed their chance. They should have totally released this game for the Wii U Virtual Console before A Link Between Worlds came out.
I agree.
People
And
want to replay this game, or maybe play it for the first time before the sequel comes out.
Well, you can still go into the Wii menu
Yeah.
and play it. But I still agree with you. But you can still play it. It's not a problem to bind. When the game comes out to the Wii U, you can upgrade it. But yeah, I think a lot of people is going to miss the opportunity because Nintendo won't be able to advertise with on the Virtual Console store.
They could if they would have introduced the Game Boy Advance Virtual Console for the 3DS, they could have released the Game Boy Advance version for on the Virtual Console.
Yeah, I think what I think is a bit sad is that we don't have the fourth palace in the Virtual Console game.
Palace
Yeah.
also Force Sword, you mean?
Yeah, the fourth sword. Sorry, I really hope we would have this, but luckily, Frank, you've given that to me, so I will play it soon.
Well, I actually assumed that they would release the game right now for the Wii U Virtual Console, because when they announced the Virtual Console on Wii U in April, when we first released the games, they made a trailer that showed A Link to the Past as one of their games.
Yeah, that's
going
true.
to be on the Wii U Virtual Console. So I assumed that they would release the game right at this time, like it's now in October or November.
Yeah,
But
and they did release the first two games a few months
maybe
ago.
it gets released next week. We don't know.
Yeah, a bit late, but let's hope so.
But there are currently no Game Boy Advance games on the 3DS except for the Ambassadors. So that's not going to happen.
The Ambassador
Yeah.
have A Link to the Past.
No, we only have the Minish Cap, and
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
but not A Link to the Past.
Well, it's because, you know, there is coming a bundle for A Link Between Worlds, the golden 3DS XL, and they are going to, is it Link's Awakening they're putting into
No.
the bundle, or?
No, only a download code for A Link Between Worlds. No other games.
But
might
there was
confuse
this
this
pre-order
with-
action in America.
It's only like in game in the
Yeah.
UK. They have like the special collector's edition with treasure chests that make sounds, and a poster and a download code for Link's Awakening. But
Okay.
it's only for game. So if you
Yeah, and I think in America you had a deal. If you pre-ordered it, you would get
Oracle of Seasons.
yeah.
With Best,
free.
I think it was Best Buy or
Yeah,
My point
no,
being-
GameStop.
My point being is that it would have been amazing if they had released A Link to the Past there and let that be the extra thing you get with it.
yeah.
I think we definitely want to play the game before A Link Between Worlds gets released. So yeah, it's
Because I think
a missed opportunity.
the new game references a lot of the story of Link to the World, Link to the Past, right?
A Link to the World.
Oh, yeah, that's like the next sequel.
I won't say.
you've replayed it recently, Frank, and have you, Stefan, you also replayed it quite recently?
It
Half
was
a year ago?
earlier this year.
Yeah. And what is the replay value for you guys to play this game again?
Very high. I think it's one of the Zelda games which has the best replay value. Like
Yeah.
I said, the first half really draws you in. It really makes you play the game. It's like I can't stop playing. I have to get this other bottle and have to get the ice rod and have to get the better boomerang and so on. It's a lot of fun and it really sucks you into the game. So it's awesome.
And it's not stretched out. I mean, everything is very compact.
There are no big tutorials, no big handholdings. Like you finish the castle section where you rescue Princess Zelda, and after the sanctuary you can basically do whatever you want. You can even get the ice rod right away. You know, it's cool. It's a lot of fun, and I think that creates a replay value for the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
What's interesting about Link Between Worlds in the game, that there are maybe some references in Link to the Past that you don't get unless you have played A Link Between Worlds. Like there's a little creature in the Dark World. It's completely unimportant in A Link to the Past. You may not even notice it, but it plays an important role in A Link Between Worlds. So maybe it's also good to replay A Link to the Past after A Link Between Worlds to get some of the references, you know.
Wow, so maybe I should... Yeah, maybe you notice more.
Yeah, maybe it's a good idea to play the game afterwards. I don't know.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
if you guys had to say how much does this game revolutionize the series, because let's say we are back in 1992, you have The Legend of Zelda, you have Adventures of Link, you have this game. How would you say this game upgraded the series and, you know, they created this kind of model?
It's probably the biggest upgrade to the Zelda series. I think the only game that comes close is Ocarina of Time.
Because it went 3D.
But if you think about it, Ocarina of Time uses basically A Link to the Past as a template.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, because I started thinking about you have the free child dungeons and there's so much to do in the overworld. There still is when you become an adult, but it's kind of the same, just to say. And I know that you said, Frank, there's only 24 heart pieces, but I look at the list, there's so many things to collect in this game, and if I compare it with the first two games, then there's a hell of a lot of things to collect.
It's a big difference,
Yeah. So I think it's quite sad if we start comparing an old game with new games, because, come on. But still, this game really stands a chance, even though I compare it with new games.
Yeah. Even if you haven't played it yet. I mean, guys, it's €8 on the Wii Virtual Console. It might be out on the Wii U one. I'm just jealous of everyone who hasn't played this game before.
You want to erase your own memory of playing the game?
Yes, if I could, totally.
It is amazing. I can only tell everyone to go pick it up right away. Do it before A Link Between Worlds and play this game. Go through it. It's amazing. You're going to enjoy all the hours there is into it. You don't have to 100% the game.
No.
Yeah, it's great.
I agree. Okay, I think that wraps it up.
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys.
Also, let us know what you thought of the game. Did you play it? How old were you when you played it? And tell us if you're looking forward to A Link Between Worlds.
Yeah.
See you next time.
Have a nice evening and
Same.
have fun. Bye-bye.